Alright, so in this video, as with all the videos that I do, I'm going to be sharing, there's this awesome dog again. Best dog on the beach today. I'm going to be sharing you with my week's worth of study into macroeconomics, into the financial world, into what's going on and how you can position yourself to be in a great place next year. I'm going to start with something that's quite mind-blowing. Turns out that since the start of 2020, the US Fed have printed 22% of all US dollars that have ever existed. That is a huge amount. And I'll explain a little bit why that matters as we cruise down, all right? And what's crazy too is that at least one of those puppets that are going to be leading the world in the next little while are going to be printing even more. So they've been printing trillions, and there's a few people saying that they're probably going to be printing tens of trillions moving forward. So that should create some interesting financial realities out there. One thing that is not being affected by all this monetary policy is commercial property. It's one of the very few assets out there in the world that is not being pumped and inflated by all this money printing. So what I mean by that, if you think about things like all the office towers in the CBD that used to be full and used to have a huge demand for them, nowadays nobody really cares, right? So there's price discovery going on in commercial office property, which is really exciting. Price discovery in property, it's been a long time since that sort of happened, you know. It usually takes a pretty big drama. Also in things like movie theaters and cinemas and theater spaces, live performances, those sorts of things. Therefore, a lot of them have hit the wall, they're over, just like a lot of retailers. So a lot of retailers have, had to shut up shop. And so two things have either happened there. Either they're running as a zombie company, which means that they're running on fumes, they're borrowing money just to pay their staff and to pay their rent, and they're not necessarily making enough money to survive, but they can borrow so cheap that they can just kind of keep running on fumes, right? Why that matters is, well, firstly, those retail spaces are soon going to end up empty. And we're talking huge companies across the country and across the world that are going to be dying because they're going to run out of gas, right? Literally. And what that also means is that these zombie companies aren't dying and making spaces for people like you and me to open a new company that's innovative, that doesn't have debt, that creates a real solution for modern day problems and isn't still stuck in the old models that quite frankly aren't working. So that's a bit of a shame, because I think there would be some really good innovative solutions that could take the place of these companies if they were actually allowed to die. So, it's a bit like the zombie apocalypse that we've all predicted on all these horror films, but it's not people running around with their faces falling off. It's companies that basically should be dead and they're being allowed to survive, which is just, it's an enormous price that we're all paying, but nobody really knows it, particularly the billion or so people who live in these certain countries around the world. There's 932 million people who live in countries where their currency is about to collapse. So what that means is that there's families who have worked their butt off for their whole life. They've put their time, energy, focus on money, their blood, sweat and tears into saving some currency. And because they're not sophisticated bankers, they're not sophisticated countries necessarily, they have a whole bunch of their local currency probably stashed either in a bank or under their bed, and their currency is about to inflate into infinity and collapse. So the reason that's sad is because these people actually have nowhere to put that money. They can't convert it to gold. There's no point in trying to buy property because that's going to die too. And it's such a big deal for almost 1 billion people around the world. So for that reason, there is, a huge demand for, in my opinion, for cryptocurrency, because these people can get a mobile phone, get an app and stick it all in crypto. But you'll hear about that a little bit later on. So that's a massive problem for almost 1 billion people around the world. But here in Australia, 1,300 businesses a day are still applying for JobKeeper. Man, that's amazing, which works out to about 4,000 to 5,000 people per day, because each of these businesses have about 3 staff on average. That's 140,000 people per month applying for JobKeeper still. That's in like September, October. So this game is not over, man. And so that's about 4 million people on JobKeeper at the moment, and 1.3 million of them will be coming off JobKeeper in April next year. So there's a lot of this game still to be had. I tell you what, you got to keep your wits around you, because now is the time, seriously, to put your money in the right place and make huge gains, or go the other way. And you know, quite frankly, if I know you, if you're watching this video, I want you to win. It's really important that you do that. So let's talk about the most exciting subject for me, which is Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin has been having some pretty epic. This is Bitcoin coming out of the out of the financial markets. It's a monster. It's a monster that most people still don't understand. And if you don't understand it, just capture this, right? Right now, there's still people, smart people in my world, who think it's just some kind of new idea that's being discussed. Well, I can tell you, there's a lot of very, very wealthy people. The institutions and the big money funds still can't put their money into it because of they're trying to get it across the board, I suppose. There's a few other technical reasons. But here's the interesting thing. Even though the individuals can't invest in Bitcoin, even though the funds can't necessarily invest in Bitcoin, the individuals who run those funds have Bitcoin in their portfolio. They have cryptocurrencies in their portfolio. So the smart money is in there. It's just the institutional money is slowly sneaking in. And that's really important to understand, because these guys aren't just going to go and spend 100 million on Bitcoin in a day, because that's just going to blow things out. It's going to pump the price. So what they're doing is sneakily trickling it in. They're buying like 50 grand a day, 50 grand a day, 50 grand a day, keeping it sneaky so that so that the price doesn't pop up, because that would just bust their model, right? So that's really important for you to understand. Now, there's a lot of people in my world who are still asking me how to do it, what needs to be done, what are the basics even. So something that I'm offering some of my friends at the moment, I'll sit with them for $100. I'll install the 3 critical things they need on their phone to be able to get into the game. I'll show them how to buy, how to transfer it into a secure wallet, and how to do a little bit of basic trading, but also some of the golden rules that people need to understand about buying cryptos, buying Bitcoin, and those sorts of things. So if that's of interest to you, let me know. I'm not really trying to sell that. It's just for people that I kind of know. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor and I don't know anything, but I do own stuff. So a couple of little things about Bondi. On Glen Eyre Road, that new construction, if you're a local, it's going to be a QE food store in there. The Chamber of Commerce is going to be putting on some networking breakfast again, which is good. So you can get to know what that company is, what Chamber of Commerce is all about. There's the GoWork co-working space. They're doing a mastermind coming up Thursday night next week. I think it's on the 12th. I'll be presenting there. I'll be doing my a little nugget to teach people how to find their target market, which is, I think, something that all businesses need to review on a regular basis. So if you're interested in that, that's next week. You can contact me about that. I will be running again those Master Your Money events that I was running, some great events last year, really successful stuff, taught lots of people how to manage their personal finances, and it's one of my favorite things to do. And last but not least, just want to share with you what it is that I'm doing with most of my clients at the moment, which is I work with people who have an existing social media community. So if that's you, if you have followers and you don't necessarily make money from that, I can help you design a product ecosystem that aligns perfectly with the market that you have, okay? So that's just a little bit about me, because some people ask me what it is that I do outside of these videos. These videos are going to be on my blog page soon, which is great. I'm getting a VA to convert them into text. But otherwise, that is it from me. You are amazing. Don't forget, you can do super duper things, and don't miss out on this Bitcoin thing, guys. You know, it's what do you got to lose? Put a little bit of your money in there. There's not much you can lose, and there's potentially an entire new world waiting for you on the other side of this crazy financial shizen that we're going through. That's it from me, from the beautiful, amazing, best part of the world, Bondi at the grassy knoll. Ciao, ciao. So if you got value out of this video, make sure you like, comment down below, start a conversation, and of course, share with people in your world, share with your community. If you want to know more about what I do, go to povar.com.au. If you want to take control of your spending habits and master your money, go to masteryourmoney.today and download the free worksheet now.